Good morning and welcome to SuperScreen News at 10. I am Olamide Onwoka. President Muhammadu Buhari has told state governors elected on the aegis of the All Progressives Congress, APC, to give him more time to decide on whether or not he would seek re-election in 2019. Chairman of the All Progressives Governors Forum, Rochas Okorocha, disclosed this to journalists at the end of the meeting held behind closed doors. Okorocha said the president promised he would soon address the nation and the caucus of the party on the matter. The APC governors who met with Buhari earlier in the day joined other governors from other political parties and former presidents and heads of governments for a meeting of the Council of States. You will recall that former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former military dictator Ibrahim Babangida, amongst all the political and religious leaders, had asked Buhari not to seek re-election in 2019. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Maitama, Abuja, has adjourned for the hearing in the 19-count charge of criminal diversions of $2.1 billion involving former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki and others. In the ruling of Justice Hussein Yusuf, it was disclosed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in a statement that the trial was adjourned till March 22nd, following Dasuki's absence in court. Other defendants in the case include a former governor of Sokoto State, Atahiru Bafarawa, his son, Sager, a former director of finance and administration in the office of the NSA, Shaibu Salisu, a former minister of state for finance, Bashir Yuguda, and Sager's firm, Dalhatu Investment. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has rejected the plea bargain of a former minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Jumoke Akinjide. The Anti-Graft Commission lawyer, Nemeke Omenwa, who disclosed this, said the agency will instead proceed with the trial. At the last sitting of the court on February 6th, EFCC had admitted that it recovered the 650 million naira allegedly laundered by Akinjide and two others. You will recall that the Anti-Graft Agency had arraigned the former minister and two others for allegedly receiving 650 million cash from a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Desiani Madueke, and a build-up to the 2015 general elections. The Northern Senators have removed Senator Abdullahi Adamu as the chairman of the forum over alleged financial mismanagement of 70 million naira. Senator Shehu Sani, representing Kaduna Central, disclosed this to journalists after a letter sent to the Senate was read by the Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu just before the end of plenary session.
This is from the Northern Senators Forum. The President of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria, announcement of removal of Senator Abdullahi Adamu as Chairman, Northern Senators Forum. This is to inform the Senate that the majority signatories of members of the Northern Senators Forum, we have removed Senator Abdullahi Adamu as the Chairman of the Northern Senators Forum for financial mismanagement and maladministration. We announce his replacement with Senator Aliu Wamako immediately. Find the attached names and signatories of members.
Sani said the money belonging to the Northern Senators Forum in the custody of Abdullahi Adamu when he emerged as chairman could not be accounted for, given an alibi that monkeys raided his farmhouse and made away with it.
The rumors going around, which I don't know whether it's true, but I believe most of the senators know, was the fact that there were allegations that some monkeys raided the farmhouse of some of the executives of the Northern Senators Forum and carted away some of this money. Now I think this country is becoming a whole joke. First of all, it was the rodents that drove away the president. And then we now have snakes consuming about 36 million.
When approached, Senator Adamu declined making any comments on the matter. when he was contacted. Away from that now, Boko Haram terrorists have killed 5 civilians and 2 soldiers in Cameroon and Chad just a day after attacking Dapchi Girls' School in Yobe, Nigeria. An anonymous source close to the administrative authorities in the northern Cameroon border area said a group of Boko Haram fighters made an incursion during Tuesday's night in Asigasa, killing 5 people and injured 5 more. The raid was confirmed along with the casualty by an official in the Cameroon Security Service. Asigasa is a border town which gives direct access to Nigeria and has seen many Boko Haram incursions in the past. The Boko Haram militants are blamed for killing another civilian in the town in January. In Chad, 2 soldiers, including a captain, were killed in a Boko Haram ambush on Wednesday. The attack took place in the west of the country in the Lake Chad region near Nigerian frontier as the troops were returning from a border patrol. The Inspector General of Police Monitoring Unit in Rivers State have discovered a baby factory in Owerri that specializes in camping teenage pregnant girls with the intentions of selling their babies. The State Police Command disclosed this to journalists when the suspects were paraded in Rivers State. More details in this report.
Speaking with newsmen, the State's Commissioner of Police, Zaki Ahmed, represented by the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the administration, Zaira Okoro, said the monitoring unit acted on credible intelligence information that the suspects conspired to sell a 2-month-old baby boy.
Conspiracy and child trafficking. Operatives of the IGP monitoring unit, led by ACP Bennett Igwe, acting on credible intelligence, arrested the following persons, namely Nkechi Uzuemene, female; Roseline Oke, female; Nwaolurita, female.
The owner of the baby factory, known as Mercy Home Orphanage, Ngozi Egionu, claimed that the place is duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission and equally debunked the allegation of it being a baby factory.
In December, a girl, that one girl with the woman that she said that is her senior sister, her mom's senior sister, that she is an orphan, no mother, no father. She has 3 children out of wedlock. And then the one that pregnanted her, the one she's carrying, she doesn't know the person. And the baby was so sick, dying. She said she doesn't want this baby to die, that we should accept this baby from her.
So not at the beginning, I made the woman and he brought me for this woman. And this woman take care of me for this impediment. I made this woman that instead of this my baby to die, let me carry the baby, and this is the person that will take care of the baby. So the woman of God called us. So the woman take us to make me rush baby to hospital. We go to this police. From police we go to court. They snap us there. They snap us in that.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police called on residents to be vigilant about their surroundings and cooperate with the police to rid the state of crimes.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has called to question the competence of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to credibly deliver on the 2019 general election as an unbiased and impartial umpire. National Chairman of the party, Uche Secondus, said the alleged registration of minors by INEC in recent elections held in Kano and Katsina State has brought doubts about INEC's competence for the assignment before it. Secondus said INEC is doing everything on the negative side against Nigerians to rig elections in 2019, but insists that the party will come up at the appropriate time to show data to prove that. He explained the imperative of the grassroots mobilization, noting that the era of politics was over. The national chairman of the party tasked PDP members to take the message of a rebranded PDP to their various constituencies, insisting that until this was done, the slogan of the PDP, which is "Power to the People," is meaningless. And the need to promote the heritage and culture in Africa is brought to the fore at a conference in African origins. Some paramount rulers at the conference says the history must be brought back and taught in documentary schools as well as higher institutions. More details coming from this report. Culture is the art and custom that characterizes a society or nation. In Nigeria, historians and traditional rulers believe the youth of today knows little or nothing about Nigeria's history, positing that the cultural values have been eroded owing to foreign influences and ignorance. At this conference, these paramount rulers lend their voices on the importance of empowering the new and incoming generations with African true genetic and cultural history.
If you don't know our history, if you don't know our heritage, we're deceiving ourselves. There is no nation in the world that has grown without the heritage, the culture, and tradition of that nation. Look at Japan. They did not jettison their heritage. Look at China. Look at India. Even the United States of America, that they converged. They picked a particular heritage and tradition, which is their diversity. What are we coming together to stand for? United we stand, divided we fall.
A country without history has nowhere to go to. You let people to tell you your own history, and they'll tell it the way they like. History is no more taught in schools or seriously. Most of you have read history of Suman Guru, the Indian Empire, or all the empires that existed before now. But some of our young men don't know anything about the kings of their kingdom, how they came about. The best thing that we're doing now to promote our culture, promote homogeneity, to try as much as possible to say that we'll come of age and that we can do things for ourselves.
The speakers also look at the new scientific evidence on origins of African culture and Nigerian people at large.
Culture being the principal aspect driver development, we think ultimately about philosophy as the core of culture. And at this point, we're also interested in the autonomous mind, what the human mind can create. This is the basis of what then drives evolution, development, etc. We cannot throw away some of the things that have come to us, modernity and Christianity and Islam, but it's our duty to combine these things in the best possible ways with our tradition for our well-being.
Namely, when you talk of the Fulani or the Hausas who came, they came on this platform and they believe that we are backward, we are pagan, our systems are barbaric. Now, unfortunately, we have not been able to intellectualize and articulate our platform as that no, our platform is not backward. We have a system based on 16 by 16, which the Constitution, 256. Now, this is a system that was created 7,000 years ago. For the latest technology in the world, the computer system, is based on that same 256 pulses. So I don't know when, how we get to when you say Yoruba culture, Igala culture is backward.
The stakeholders believe a well-articulated cultural identity and interrelationships of original Africans is necessary to improve cultural pride, improve work ethics, and will also serve as basis for political unity. Kwara State House of Assembly has passed a bill expanding areas where the manufacturing, sales, and consumption of liquor are prohibited into law in the state capital. The passage of the bill followed consideration of the report on the bill by the House on Wednesday. Under the law, no person will be allowed to produce, sell, store, or openly consume alcohol within specified areas in the metropolis. The bill proposes that any person who contravenes the provision will be guilty of an offence and liable of conviction to a fine not exceeding 100,000 naira or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or both. 12 out of 20 local government of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State have passed a vote of no confidence on the state chairman, Moshood Salvador. The vote of no confidence was passed on the chairman yesterday at the party's Badagry Divisional Assembly held in Festac area of Lagos State.
That we hereby pass a vote of no confidence in the person and the office of Honorable Moshood Salvador and the state chairman of PDP in Lagos State. He seeks to be our chairman. So we have all agreed. Is that all we have agreed? Today, a vote of no confidence has been passed on Moshood Salvador by majority, by the excellent majority of party members in Badagry Division of West Central District.
They also speak on the rationale behind their decision for the state chairman to step down on his position.
High-handedness, maladministration, and impunity of the highest order. So those three are enough constitutionally to unseat anybody holding a political office at the party level.
I am very much in agreement. And in fact, as a matter of fact, this chairman we are talking about, Moshood Salvador, was not voted for. He came in through acclamation of the members. And when the dissolution came, it was supposed to affect everybody. But unfortunately, he refused, he refused to leave the place. And that is why everybody is very, very annoyed. And we are here to tell the world that he's not one of us.
He was not voted for. He's a selected chairman. Nobody voted for him. So if people that said they selected him, they said they don't want him again, there's nothing anybody can do about that.
You're still watching SuperScreen News at 10. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take some news from the business scene. Stay with us. Welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. And now for some business stories. The Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAAC, has approved the sum of 635.55 billion naira to be shared to the 3 tiers of government from the Federation account as statutory allocation for the month of January. The figure was announced by the Accountant General of the Federation, Idris Ahmed, shortly after the FAAC meeting, which was held at the headquarters of the Ministry of Finance in Abuja. Ahmed said the 635.55 billion naira shared in January was about the 20 billion naira lower than 655.17 billion naira, which the committee allocated to the 3 tiers of government in December. Ahmed also said the amounts were shared on the statutory allocation, where the sum of 538.9 billion naira was distributed to the 3 tiers of government and value-added tax of 96.64 billion naira. Still talking business, a bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2018 has passed through the second reading at the Senate. The amendment bill before the Senate seeks to compel the Central Bank of Nigeria to submit its annual budget to the National Assembly in the course of the annual appropriation bill, a subsequent one for transparency and accountability in the operations of the bank.
The CBN governor acts as the chairman of the CBN board, and this is not in accordance with the principles of corporate governance, which advocates the separation of roles of the chairman of board and the governor to ensure appropriate internal checks and balances. In most developed countries, to ensure accountability, banks are supervised by a board.
I want to advise, Mr. President, for the spirit of accountability and even to check corruption, It is good these two offices are separated, and you will be able to now have proper oversight by our relevant committees of the Senate over the CBN.
One of the key issues in the bill are that it also seeks to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2018 to appoint a person other than the governor as the chairman of the board. Other lawmakers share different opinions on that.
There is nothing wrong in the governor of CBN also being chairman. I think by the fact of what has been written in this paper, we have ended up even indicting ourselves not to begin an example that will later haunt us.
The issue of bringing the CBN budget here is already settled under the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Because if you go to Section 21 of that Act, it says that the central bank and other government parastatals and agencies listed in the schedule, about 21 of them, will submit the annual budget to the Minister for Finance.
You're watching SuperScreen News at 10. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take a news from the foreign scene as well as some sports stories. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and we'll take some news from the foreign scene. An armed officer, Barrett Sheriff of Scott, Israel, assigned to the Florida school shooting, where a gunman killed 17 people last week, stood outside the building during the shooting and did not intervene. Scott Israel said Deputy Scott Patterson has resigned after being suspended. Earlier this week, President Trump said arming school teachers could prevent school shootings. The proposal has long been championed by the powerful National Rifle Association and the gun lobby. Australia's Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce says he will resign following a politically damaging saga that began with his affair with a former staffer. Joyce said he would step down on Monday as leader of the Nationals' junior government partner. He had previously resisted calls to quit amidst intense scrutiny over his ministerial conduct. He described his decision as a circuit breaker for his family and new partner. And now for some sports stories. CSKA Moscow has confirmed Nigerian striker Aaron Samuel's loan to Russia league rivals Amkapam until the end of the season. CSKA Moscow made the announcement of their official website on Thursday. Samuel had struggled for playing time for CSKA in the current campaign, making 7 Russia Premier League appearances, scoring just 1 goal in the matches CSKA Moscow has played so far. Still talking sports, Ghana kept their WAFU Women's Cup dreams alive as they beat Nigeria on penalties following a 1-1 draw in the semi-finals played on Thursday. Nigeria started brightly, beating the Black Queens at their own game as they pressed high and afforded their arch rivals little space. And after 8 minutes, their endeavors brought the curtain raiser as Alice Ogebe headed past goalkeeper Patricia Mante. The Falcons were made to pay minutes later with Ampa Faustina firing home from a goal-mouth scramble. And after full-time score stood at 1-1 after goalkeeper Mante was the hero of the shootout as he kept out 2 strikes from the Super Falcons. Ghana will face Cote d'Ivoire in the final, while Nigeria will play the 3rd-place match against Mali. And that's it on SuperScreen News at 10. I am Olamide Onka. Many thanks for staying with us. Stay tuned to the rest of the programs coming your way on your darling station, SuperScreen Television. From the entire production team, have a fantastic day. Bye for now.